Hey guys, Victor here, coming at you again with another deck profile, and for today's video we're going to be doing an updated hero deck. Now, the main reason why I wanted to do another hero profile right now, even though nothing has technically happened for the deck, is because the new evil hero support is basically just around the corner, as it will be released in the newest set in January. And while it doesn't really change the fundamentals of the way that the current hero deck plays, as the overall end goal is still basically to be the same as you go first, and then during your opponent's turn, you're basically just going to be destroying or super polying everything away. It's still nice to just get a refresher on the way that the current hero deck plays, just so you know that we're a little bit more prepared for once the new support drops. So, with that in mind, let's jump straight into it. As always, we're going to be starting off with the monster lineup first, and we're of course going to be playing 3 elemental hero stratos, basically the heart and soul of the modern hero deck, as we have way better search targets compared to back in the day, as opposed to, just being able to only search out cards like Alias or Ocean. We can pretty much get every elemental hero now that we actually want, as every single one actually has a purpose in the form of we have Faris, we have Vyon, we have Shadow Mist, we have Liquid Soldier, we have Neos, we have Denier, Plasma, the list goes on and on and on, and every single ad is going to be pretty valid for the most part. It really just depends on what your hand looks like, and then as for its other effect, which does come up every now and then, you get to destroy spells and traps equal to the other number of face-up hero monsters you control. So, just a really solid card. It's at 3. Sometimes I play 2, sometimes I play 3. But the ratio honestly doesn't really matter too much because you're typically going to end the game on your first/second turn anyways. Then, to go with our 3 stratos, we're playing the 1 elemental hero Shadow Mist. If you play the 2 stratos, you play 2 Shadow Mist. If you play 3 stratos, you play 1 Shadow Mist. And the ratios are basically pretty interchangeable, so it's honestly up to you and what you prefer. But for this profile, 1 Shadow Mist is perfectly fine, as much like stratos, when it's sent to the graveyard, it's able to search out any hero monster. And then, when it's special summoned, it searches out any change quick play, but you only get 1 effect per turn, so sometimes you have to be a little bit more cautious of what you choose to do. Then, we're also going to be playing the 1 elemental hero Neos. Who would have thought that Neos would actually become a staple in modern hero decks, right? Ever since its introduction back in 2006, I would like to say, maybe 2007, this card was absolutely awful. And it's basically only recently become actually playable and a good card, because it actually opens up all your Neo Swingman lines, which allows this deck to just completely break opponent's boards fairly easily. But even so, you don't need more than 1. 1 is perfectly fine as is. Then we're still going to be playing the 1 elemental hero Liquid Soldier. I see some people cutting this just to play Pot of Prosperity, but while I think Prosperity is a fine card, I feel like Liquid Soldier gives you way more value more often, just because 1, it's actually searchable, unlike Prosperity, and 2, you can basically use it to further facilitate your combo plays, as whether you're making Sunrise or you're making the new Flame Wingman, you basically another search plus a draw 2, and then that allows you to in turn discard key cards from your hand that you don't need, like Malicious or Denier, or just just things like that, where something like Pot of Prosperity, while it is really solid, it's not a searchable card. You basically have to hard draw it that 1 turn or it's completely useless, as opposed to Liquid Soldier, where as long as you have a search, you always have access to this. So yeah, 1 Liquid Soldier, perfectly fine. We're also going to be playing the 1 Wing Kuriboh level 6. The card is okay, it doesn't really attribute much to the deck, as it's basically just another pop, but it is able to bring itself back every single turn, as long as you banish an elemental hero from your grave or whatever. And it's also a level 6, right? So you can use this card for your Fusion Destiny plays in order to bring out Phoenix Enforcer, or just hard summon to destroy your Phoenix Enforcer if you have a Polymerization, for example. So it does have a couple of other uses that make it pretty viable, and then you don't even have to bring it out by its own effect. If, for example, you've already drawn your trap, being the favorite contact, off without having to use your Flame Wingman or whatever, you contribute that and then special summon this, because it's a level 7 or lower. Technically, it's a level 7 or lower hero monster that cannot be normal summoned or set, as it's always treated as an elemental hero monster. So, we have very many ways to get access to this, much like Liquid Soldier, that you don't have to rely on actually sending it to the graveyard or hard drawing it to have access to it. And then for the final elemental hero monster, I'm still playing the 1 elemental hero blazeman. I know no one else is doing this, and that's perfectly fine, but I just feel like the opportunities that blazeman gives you are just pretty invaluable, because it's quite literally one of the only cards that allows you to play through getting dimension shifted, which is something that this deck really does struggle with a lot. So yeah, 1 blazeman, really solid. And then that's it for the elemental heroes. And then for the destiny hero monsters, it's the same 5 as always. you got your 3 Destiny Hero Malicious with your 1 Destiny Hero Denier and then the 1 Destiny Hero Plasma. Not much needs to be said. It's the standard for a reason, right? People play Dark Angel, but that's just incorrect. It's so easy to get rid of Dark Angel. You're just giving your opponent like free fodder. They can link it off. It's just not worth the time and effort. So yeah, these 5 perfectly fine. And then for the Vision Heroes, much like the D Heroes, it's a very, very standard lineup. So you have the 3 Vision Hero Faris, which is a free discard for heroes in your hand, mainly like your Destiny heroes in the form of like Malicious and sometimes Shadow Mist, or you could even justify discarding cards like Neos or like Liquid Soldier because you can use them through like Miracle Fusion later on in the turn to be able to just banish them and then get their benefits either way. But yeah, 3 Faris, you have the 2 Vision Hero Increase, and the 2 Vision Hero Vyon. Really, really straightforward standard stuff. Not much needs to be said. It's the standard for a reason, right? It's good. And that's it for the hero monsters, but we do play 3 more monsters in the main deck, being the 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. These are literally only in here for Mold Charming Fuwalos, because if we get hit by Fuwalos, we are not winning the game, like straight up. Sure, sometimes if you're like lucky enough, you can just go a Hero Lives, summon Shadow Mist, search out Match Change, and sit on Dark Claw, but with the way that the current decks function, being Raziel and Malice, a single Dark Claw is not going to help you, if I'm being brutally honest, and you're probably going to end up losing that game. So we have to include Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring just to at least stand a chance and prevent ourselves from just auto losing to those cards. So yeah, with that, that's the main deck, and now we can finally move on to the spell and trap portion. Now for the spells and traps, we're going to be starting off with the spells, of course, and we're going to be starting with the best 3 of in the deck, being our 3 A Hero Lives, pay half your life, and then you get to special summon any elemental hero monster from your deck for free. It's typically either going to be like, normally it's going to be like Stratos or Shadow Mist, but there are a few times where you can justify summoning something like Blazeman as well. But for the most part, this is literally just there to either bait Ash or summon out Stratos and Shadow Mist. So yeah, I've got to play 3 of it. Then we're also be playing 3 Fusion Destinies. Now, this is unlike A Hero Lives. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You never start with this card unless your hand is bad, just because you do not want to lock yourself into dark monsters. You want to give yourself the opportunity as much as possible to be able to take advantage of cards like your Flame Wingman in your extra deck, or just like, I don't know, like Sunrise, whatever other non-dark hero monsters that you may be playing, just because if you lock yourself into dark, you're basically just limiting the potential that your deck has at all times. So if you can, save this card for last. Like I said, you never want to start with this card. That's it for the 3 ofs, and then for the 2 ofs, we're still going to be playing 2 Polymerization. With the abundance of cards like Dimension Shifter and Droll and Lockbird, you're going to need Polymerization in your hand more often than not. So just bumping it up from 1 to 2 would allow you to see it, and then if you do get hit by something like that, you can at least try and play through it more frequently. It's not always going to work, but you know, we got to take what we can get. So 2 Polymerizations. Then we're also going to be playing 2 Triple Tactics Thrust. This deck has a lot of trouble going second, so something like Thrust to be able to search out any normal spell or trap, and it's typically always going to get like your normal spells, whether it's like your Fusion Destinies, A Hero Lives, or even this card, Triple Tactics Talent, to allow you to just continue to push through your opponent's boards, because there aren't that many like Omni Negates anymore, right? Appaloosa is banned, Savage Dragon is banned, Baron is banned, so while the boards have become considerably weaker, there are still some boards that need a little bit of extra help to be able to be pushed through. And Thrust into something like Talents or another Fusion Destiny or a Hero Lives, it really is just invaluable. And even if you're going first, it's phenomenal for when you get hit by like Droll, right? So as it allows you to just have your insta access to your favorite contact and then be allowed to special summon during your opponent's turn and hopefully prevent them from OTKing you. But yeah, that's it for the 2 ofs, and then for the 1 ofs, we're just playing the 1 of Miracle Fusion, the 1 of Reinforcement of the Army, just 1 Mass Change. Typically you see me play like 2 to 3, but I'm going to be real with you guys, Dark Law kind of sucks in this format, and the rest of the Masked Heroes just are not that great. So we're only going to be main decking the 1 Mass Change, and then we're going to be relegating the other Mass Changes to the side, and then we'll like put them in or take them out depending on like what the matchup is. But yeah, just Dark Law basically treating like Dark Law just giving Malice decks like an auto win is yeah, just you want to avoid that at all times. So like one of the major core strategies of modern heroes is of course to sit on Dark Law, and it's just become like super ineffective against one of the top 2 decks. So you really should not be relying on Mass Change that much. Then for the final spell, just one Call by the Grave to hopefully stop an opponent's hand trap or something. And that's it for the spells. And then for the traps, we just played the one favorite contact. I didn't really feel the need like putting infinite impermanence just because, like I said, the boards are honestly pretty mediocre as of late, so we don't really need to invest too many cards into board breakers. Those are more fitted for like the side deck once you actually know what you're going to be playing against. So with that, that's the main deck, 40 cards like always, and now we can finally move on to the extra deck. Now for the extra deck, we're going to be starting off with the one Exceed monster we play like always, which is number 41, Bagooska the Terribly Tired Tapir. If you ever find yourself getting hit by Droll and Shifter, this is basically the best that you can do in most situations. As long as you open up like a Hero Lives, of course, or some other like 2-card combo for like level 4 extenders. Maybe you play Solid Soldier still. I don't know why you would, but it would allow you to go into this more easily. But yeah, just the one Bagooska is like literally like a last-ditch effort to try and survive a turn. And that's for the Exceeds. And then for the links, we're playing the one extra hero Infernal Devicer to be able to search out our elemental hero Neos more consistently. Our one extra hero Wonder Driver to be able to reset basically all of our fusion spells from our graveyard to be able to be reused again at some later point. And then for the final link monsters, we're playing 2 extra hero Cross Crusader. As much like Stratos and Shadow Mist, it basically allows you to search your deck for any single hero monster. All you have to do is tribute a Destiny hero monster, and since we play the 3 malicious and the 1 denier, it's pretty easy to set up if I'm being honest. Just be aware though that if you play like other cards that are non-heroes, this card does lock you into heroes for the entire turn if you decide to use Cross Crusaders. So if you play something like Super Poly, for example, with Mud Dragon or Garura or whatever, you would have to use those cards first. Or not even use them first. You're just not allowed to use them, period, if you decide to go into Cross Crusader at any point in the turn. So yeah, it does limit you somewhat, but for the most part, the impact that it makes is negligible in that regard anyways. So yeah, 2 Cross Crusaders, perfectly fine. And that's it for the links. We don't play Dread Decimator because it's bad and this deck already puts up like 3 million points of damage anyways. But for the fusions, we're going to be starting off with the one non-hero fusion that we play, being Guardian Chimera. So this is something that I've included in basically every single one of my hero lists, just because I really enjoy the surprise factor that it offers you. And you do bring it out more often than you think because of the fact that we do play more than one Polymerization, and it always catches the opponent off guard because they're just expecting some wimpy hero fusion to come out. But when the Guardian Chimera that cannot be targeted by cards like Imperm or Veiler drops, and is also drawing us cards and blowing up cards, it does put us like in a very advantageous situation that a lot of people just aren't equipped to deal with properly. Just be aware though that if you do go into Guardian Chimera, this is one of those instances where if you choose the Chimera, you're basically just shutting off the entire Cross Crusader play for the turn. But I feel like the value that Guardian Chimera generates for you is honestly just invaluable. However, if you do use Guardian Chimera, it doesn't turn off your Faris's effects. Just make sure that you summon Chimera before you go for the Faris line, because unlike Cross Crusader, Faris only locks you after you resolve its effect, not before. So yeah, you know, just little things to be aware of if you want to like play some of the more weirder tech options like Guardian Chimera in your deck. But that's it for the random fusion monsters, and then from here on out, it's literally just nothing but heroes. So we're playing 2 Master Hero Darklaw still. I know I said Darklaw is bad in the current format, and it really is, just because it doesn't really do anything to Malice or Ryzeal. But I'm using the second one as like a placeholder to showcase that you can play the other ones. But if you do, the only other valid options that I would recommend would be either Divine Wind or Master Hero Blast, and those are pretty much only because like they're wind attributes, so it will allow your elemental hero Stratos to dodge cards like Effect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence. But you know, Darklaw is still Darklaw, and if you play against like more of the rogue decks, it can auto win you the matchup. So yeah, 1 is mandatory, the second one is honestly whatever. You can relegate it to the side, you can replace it with Blast or Divine Wind. It's honestly your choice. Then that's it for the masked heroes, and then for the Destiny hero monsters, I'm still playing the one Destiny hero Dangerous, just because I really enjoy how sometimes you just have to send like a malicious with a Shadow Mist to be able to extend your plays, just because you've already used up like the rest of your D heroes or whatever. So you know, it does provide you with some flexibility with your plays. And then we play the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer because Enforcer is broken. Now that's it for the D heroes, and then we just play the elemental hero fusions from here on out, being the one elemental hero Flame Wingman Infernal Rage. It searches out either your favorite contact or your Wing Kuriboh level 6. If you use Neos to summon it, you can basically just tribute this card to either summon like I'm pretty sure you can summon the Wind Kuriboh from your deck, as it cannot be normal summoned or set. But typically what you're going to be summoning off the Infernal Rage is your Elemental Hero Sunrise for free, as it ignores summoning conditions. And Sunrise on special summon, not fusion summon, special summon, is able to search out Miracle Fusion. So, just off of that one little card right here, so you're typically going to be using like Neos plus Liquid Soldier, so you're getting a draw to a search for favorite contact / Wind Kuriboh, or like a free summon for the Wind Kuriboh, or a free summon for Elemental Hero Sunrise to search out Miracle Fusion. So you really are setting up yourself pretty nicely for the next turn's follow-up. And then I'm still going to be playing the one Elemental Hero Kuriboh as well, just because, as I said earlier, you will be locking yourself into Fusion Destiny sometimes, even though you'd much rather avoid it. So having the Dark Omni hero here to be able to just try and finish off your opponent for game does come up pretty frequently. Then we're playing the big boys, being the Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman to blow up our opponent's board, typically during their turn, but it can be used during your turn. And then we also have the Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. This one almost never gets made, in my honest opinion, unless you're like being super greedy and you're going for the guaranteed match change combo during the end of your turn, which is where you end on Shining Neos Wingman, or sorry, not Shining Neos, you end on Wake Up Your Elemental Hero plus Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. You move to the end phase, and then you just pop everything. And by everything, I mean wake up with the Enforcer to summon Shadow Mist, search out the match change, and then just make Dark Law raw right then and there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really enjoy that play. I just feel like it's way too greedy and it's just not worth the effort or the resources that goes into making it. I'd rather just hold everything for the next turn to ensure that I actually have a decent follow-up instead of just banking on my one field to be able to end the game right then and there. But to each their own, everyone is different. You play heroes however you like. I'll play it how I enjoy it. And with that, that's the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya!